returning from a camping trip. You've had a relaxing time, but you're ready to be home. No matter how tired you might be, you will want to take some final steps to ensure this camping trip is not your last. This includes carefully inspecting your gear, washing dirty sleeping bags, wiping out coolers, as well as sorting and organizing everything into its storage location. Without this final preparation, not only could you ruin any gear for future use, but you may not be able to locate it when you need it. Likewise, the final steps of the research data lifecycle focuses on disseminating your research to the scientific community so others can validate or replicate your findings. Publishing journal articles as well as any datasets is an important step to close out the research cycle. Researchers will also want to prepare their data for reuse, deposit it in trusted repositories, and review their metadata and other documentation. In today's video, we will discuss how UNT Health Fort Worth can help during the share and disseminate and access and reuse phases of the research data lifecycle. Let's get started. When sharing your data, you will want to make sure you initiate what is in your data management and sharing plan, prepare your datasets and accompanying metadata, and comply with any grant policies. Some of these policies may address which repository you are required to use, as well as the type of copyright placed on your information. Preparing your datasets for dissemination may include de-identifying any clinical data. The NLM Scrubber is a helpful tool to produce HIPAA-compliant health information for scientific use. It is a downloadable software from the National Libraries of Medicine. Find a link to this tool on Lewis Library's Research Data Management Guide. Once you have scrubbed any personal identifying information, you will want to ensure that your data and metadata will meet repository requirements. Different data repositories will specify file formats, dataset headings, privacy laws or requirements, as well as any metadata standards that make the datasets findable. Your metadata documentation should clearly explain the files. Without this documentation, the data loses the ability to be reproduced and validated by others in the scientific field, even if it is findable in a repository. If you are not sure where to publish your datasets or what journals might be appropriate for your research, contact a librarian for help, and we can provide a list of potential journals and repositories for your data and future publications. Grant awards or publishers may suggest trusted data repositories for publishing. However, Lewis Library also hosts a general data repository for campus needs. DataSafe at UNT Health is a local solution to fulfill funder requirements for UNT Health-affiliated faculty, staff, and students. You can publish, manage, and assign DOIs to your datasets. DataSafe also allows for customizable metadata fields and includes versioning functionality. If you publish an article within a journal or want scholarly credit for your research, easily link to the dataset DOI during article submission or on your ORCID account to increase your scholarly impact. An ORCID account is important for any researcher who is planning on publishing. ORCID is a unique identifier for authors and researchers. Having an ORCID not only helps distinguish you from any other researcher who might share the same name, but it can also be a requirement for funding agencies like the National Institutes of Health. Compile all scholarly output in one place, like articles, datasets, peer review activities, and other works. If you would like to learn more about creating an ORCID and the benefits for publishing researchers, visit Lewis Library's ORCID page for more information. When you are ready to publish the dataset, you will need to decide what kind of copyright license you will use. If you need help discussing copyright, open access, or which Creative Commons license might be applicable for your project, check out Lewis Library's Copyright, Fair Use, and Public Domain Guide, the Creative Commons Guide, the Open Access Guide, or schedule an appointment with a librarian for a consultation. Using LabArchives, request to publish the dataset with the appropriate copyright, which will then go through the Department of Research and Innovation, who will check for any intellectual property issues before the dataset and accompanying documentation can be published. During the dissemination and reuse phases, you will want to ensure that your data is discoverable, preserved, and usable for years to come. The library has expertise on open access and copyright, publishing options, and the DataSafe repository. For specific questions, contact a librarian for help. Thank you for taking the time to learn a bit about data.